on now.
Hey, friends.
Hey,
How's it going? We have, who do we have here? Let's introduce everybody. This is the Spokane Soccer Show. I'm your host, Benji Wade. We are going to be talking for the very first time about Spokane Velocity playing a meaningful, competitive game. We saw them play the Tacoma Defiance in their final preseason game last week together, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were there.
Was everybody there? Who wasn't there? Okay, we have newcomers to the midst, but that's only newcomers to me. This might be newcomers to everybody here. So let's go around and introduce everybody. So this is all, I believe, 509 Syndicate members, right? Yeah, including myself. Okay, I've introduced myself. Everybody knows who I am. So, hello.
Hi, I'm Nicole Malabai.
Jared Bojo. I'm also the secretary of the 509 Syndicate.
That's right. You have a role with the 509 Syndicate.
Hello, my name is Manny Banda.
But wait, Manny, and what do you do? You run
I am helping out with the 509 Sindicato. Yeah.
The Spanish language version of the 509, El Sindicato.
And I'm Casey Chumra.
Hi, Casey.
Hi.
And I'm Valentin Esteves, fan and support of the team.
Nice. Wait, and you heard about us doing this through the Instagram page for the 509 Syndicate?
Yeah, we saw
Super cool.
the post like yesterday and last week. We started following you guys, so we are really enthusiastic about the team.
Very fun. Well, did everybody watch the game?
Yes.
I like how the mic is already making its way back to the black hole over here. Jared is like, I've got so many takes. I'm ready to give them. Just wind me up and watch me go. I'm going to be a chatty Cathy doll over here.
I am the talker probably of the group.
Wait, mic etiquette. You got to pull it a little closer. There we go.
A little closer? Okay.
If you have it at your holster, we're in trouble.
Okay.
You have to be like ready to fire.
Didn't know how close I needed to be.
That's good. That's perfect right there.
But yeah, I don't know if my opinions are good. They're probably objectively terrible. But I have them, and I think everybody has them, and I'll give them. So.
I think takes are on like a sliding scale from horrible to brilliant, and I don't know if we'll achieve either in this podcast. Hopefully it'll be just like somewhere in the middle, and we can maintain expectations okay. Well, let's start with talk to me. Anybody can talk right now. We'll start with Jared because he's got the microphone. Your perspectives about yesterday, and where were you, and what was your experience like?
So I was at Brick West with the mob of people, the zoo. I was running our social media account, and I always forget to get content for that. So I apologize for not getting the best video. But it was really hard to analyze the match when you're there. You're into it. We took a picture at halftime as well, so we had to coordinate that. And it's a great time. I think if you go to those matches and you really want to break down the match, you're going to have a rough time because it's just you're having a good time talking, chatting with everybody else, and then somebody scores, hey, everybody cheers, and you're cheering too, and so sometimes you don't really know what's going on, but I did go home and watch the match.
Properly?
Okay. Yeah, with all the lights off, quietly.
Wow.
Every time they scored, I cried. No.
Wait, every time who scored? Either team? Every goal?
Yeah, every time Greenville scored.
I think I may have cried for every goal. Didn't matter who scored.
Yeah.
I'm crying.
Yeah. The first one was great. I felt like that was a really awesome moment.
It really, really was.
I thought it was really cool that we got it first, too. We were the first one to score.
I have to point something out. There's some symmetry and some synchronicity with the week before. The final preseason game of the season for Velocity was against an MLS Next Pro Sounders affiliate team called Tacoma Defiance. They lost 3-1.
Yep.
Their only goal was from a penalty. There's another goal that was similar, and we're going to get to the goals in a minute, but one of the goals that was scored by Tacoma against us was very similar to the goal that was scored against us. Yeah, the third goal that was scored by Greenville yesterday was really, really similar. Kind of a driven shot across the face of goal. Difference being Castro had the little cheeky back heel, but it was super similar to the goal that we gave up, the final goal, I think, against Defiance.
And not to take anything away from Greenville, but I thought that was the only real legit goal that they got.
I agree.
Like, they beat us 3-1, but two of those goals were kind of iffy.
The follow-up goal, the trailing,
not the back heel definitely wasn't iffy. It's just there's nothing you can do against that. It was just a beautiful goal, a great job.
I totally agree.
Nothing we could say negatively about it, I would say.
Sure.
But,
okay, next up, Manny, grab it.
Yeah.
Where were you? Where'd you do yesterday?
Yeah, I was in the comforts of my own home.
Nice.
I stopped by at Brick West for a bit for that 3v3 session, and I wanted to go back home. I wanted to go home and take notes.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. A lot
Manny
of
came
thoughts.
prepared.
Yeah,
I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah, I have a lot.
This man has
Yeah.
perspectives.
Yeah.
He's got info.
There's a lot of
Nicole says I'm out.
positives,
I'm gonna flunk this test.
The build on what Jared said, I agree. I think the build-up play and the transition play, the transitioning from Spokane was way more superior. At least
We're going to get to the gameplay. I want to start with just perspectives on where you were. What was the feeling like? So you were at home. Were you by yourself? Were you with family?
No, I was by myself for the first half.
Oh, nice.
Just
What about the
with
second
my
half?
rabbit along me watching the game, watching
Okay.
me yell, and in the second half too, my girlfriend showed up after her shift, and it was a good time. She was cheering it on, a little upset with the score, but it was a good time. It was a
Nice.
good time. Yeah, kind of liking the whole family involved. With Tacoma, I took my mom, my siblings, and then my nephew. So it's nice. It's nice to have a club that one can take their family support. It's a nice community to build on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Casey, do you want to come on? Where were you?
Yeah, we got to watch the game at home as well.
Okay.
And I just thought it was so cool to see that first goal. The first meaningful goal in a real game
In
was
minute 13.
Yeah, and it was really, really, really special. And I think that this team is going to mean a lot to the community. We were driving around downtown afterwards. There were so many people in team gear already. You know, we haven't even had a real home game yet, regular season home game.
Wait, this was after the game?
After the game.
Were they pouring out of Brick West?
It was definitely pouring out of Brick West, but then they had walked around, all downtown and had gone out to eat. And so just to kind of see the amount of people who had already purchased jerseys and all of those kind of things just is an indication of where it's going to go.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really special. And to have a team like this that is going to be kind of that center of the community is really special. So
Love it.
yeah, it was really fun.
Valentine, where were you yesterday?
Well, we were,
So the two of you are friends.
we were married.
The two of you are married.
Yeah, married.
The two of you are very good friends.
Also best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friends with benefits.
Exactly.
Okay.
A lot of
Yeah.
benefits.
All the benefits.
Yeah.
But you watched it at home? Were you happy to be watching it at home?
Yeah, we were really happy. We were talking about probably we could go on one of the away soccer games.
Yeah.
Even because we are super excited about watch the game on live. But even if we are at home, we are super excited about it. And for me, the result, even that they lost, was a good result for the first game ever. So that was a good game.
It was a good game. I totally
Yeah.
agree. Nicole, do you want to tell us where you were? Give us your perspective. Where were you?
I was the Brick West crowd.
You were? Okay.
I will always be that crowd. I will not be the stats taking notes at home. But you know what I love is that
Like you're in it for the vibes.
I'm in it for the vibes. I'm in it for the community. I feel like the culture. That's kind of what I love about soccer.
I admire you.
I've met some of really good friends from the other club that I support. We won't name because there's rivals here in some sports. But I love the fact that you can watch it on TV.
She's talking about the Sounders and the
Sounders.
Timbers in
Yes.
the Major League Soccer, I believe.
Yes. And the funny thing is, there is a Timbers equivalent on 509, Jessica, who is my version for the Timbers. But we're both Spokane people, and that's
Okay.
what I love. But I love that you can watch it on ESPN Plus because I wasn't sure when this whole team was coming to Spokane that you could even have that option without blackouts and subscribing and all the things.
Oh, I think the blackouts are coming.
I know.
Just FYI. They're
But-
coming.
Was it on air yesterday? Because I
Yes.
Fernando, grab a chair.
Yes, yeah. But I love the vibe. The Brick West was my vibe for sure.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we talk about the soccer? Okay. I should probably say what I was doing. Okay, dear listener. I was at home driving my family crazy. My sister and brother-in-law came over, and they're used to this. They know what I am like. So.
And they still love you.
But they own a wine and beer establishment in Green Bluff called Wildland Co-op. Shout out. And so they brought beverages and that helped. Yeah, I was definitely elated when they scored the first goal and the manner in which they scored it. I will start with that goal and say what I thought was really cool was against Tacoma Defiance, our only goal was a penalty, and Luis Hill took the penalty and converted it very comfortably. But it's like, for our first League One game, you've got to have your number 9 take it. You've got to get your striker on the scoring sheet because it does so much for confidence, even a pen. It's almost like basketball with a free throw. When a good shooter and a good scorer in basketball makes a free throw, they're ready to go. Same thing is true with a striker. Give him a pen. Get him that feeling of, I scored my first goal in the 13th minute. The first goal scored for USL League One belongs to Josh Doling. First goal in the club's history, of course, but the first goal in 2024 for the League One. So anyway, really cool. Anybody else have thoughts that they want to share about the pen or about anything to do with that goal? Uh-oh, here he comes.
Well, I thought it was a clear pen. I mean, I don't
sure.
think there was any doubt on that one.
No, the defender even knew it. And credit to the defender, he didn't complain.
During this match?
Was
there
what?
VAR? It seemed like the ref was going to his ear.
You know what's really funny? They don't do proper VAR that I'm aware of. I will have to research this.
Right.
But one thing that they did research was later in the game, Colin Fernandez caught a stray elbow to the face, above the head.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was Chapa who did that.
Yeah. That was in the first half as well.
They didn't. The referee was, I believe, reviewing it.
Yeah.
Somebody was reviewing it.
Yeah, because somebody in his ear had to have told him, because he didn't want to give it. But I mean, that was clear. It was high, and I thought it was a clear yellow. What you're talking about.
Yeah.
The foul.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the pen. Yeah, the pen was stone cold pen.
Yeah. I don't know if the pen was a yellow, or did he give a yellow for it? I don't think he did.
No.
But no. Yeah. No, it was just a foul.
It was a coming together. It was an unfortunate one of those. Like the defender's like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. And
Javier Martin Hill, who drew it, he was kind of fortunate. You know, his tail leg.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's good. I thought he was going to take the pen, so Josh kind of ruined that for me. My prediction was a penalty scored by Hill.
Oh, you thought Luis Hill was going to shoot it?
I thought that he was. I said in the chat, I said
right.
the first goal was going to be scored. It was a pen, and when it came up, I was in Brick West. I was excited. I was like, I'm going to be right. I can say I was right about something, and then of course I see Josh Doling standing over the spot.
Really well taken penalty.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing was right inside the left post,
and the keeper guessed right.
Yep.
And so
if you finish like that, the keeper's got no chance.
Yeah. Got something to say?
Yeah, I personally like it when shots hit that side net. That was a very good pen.
Yeah, he smoked it.
Yeah, and then in defense of the defender, he really didn't see him when Heel was coming in like that. So it was. I mean, I understand why he didn't get a yellow, because I don't think it was like an intentional to sweep him, but still,
his foot.
PK.
His foot was attempting to clear the ball.
Yep.
It was a second ball situation. I don't remember who it was. Somebody took kind of a heavy touch, and Javier Martin Hill was just right inside the box and got there first and took that touch like a microsecond before the poor defender's leg came to kick the ball, and instead he kicked the back of Hill's leg. So
it looked like he barely controlled it with like the outside of his foot, and then here comes the chop. Yeah.
First goal in the club's history. Congrats, Josh Doling.
I'm going to go the vibe route.
Okay, let's go.
The fact that it was a penalty means everybody could have their phones out and recording. I saw 20 different versions, so that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
I'm a big sucker for a good crowd reaction as well. So since it was an away match, and sorry, I'm going to throw a little shade over at Greenville for not having that big of a crowd, but next week, you just wait. Watch our opening crowd. We're going to fill that stadium.
It's tough. Let's talk about it for just a second.
Yeah.
They play it's called Paladin Stadium. It's a college football stadium. And it's horrifying.
Yeah, the lines were awful.
All shade deserved and delivered. You cannot put football lines on a soccer pitch. No, it makes it an unwatchable mess. And so we've had the misfortune now 2 weeks in a row. Maybe we'll break our little jinx here when we stop playing on artificial grass. There's all different versions of artificial grass. We'll do that topic some other day. Football fields, like, come on. Can we please play on a normal lines?
4 of those? Is that a thing?
There's a couple more, I think.
Yeah.
I'll have to research that.
I know Fuego plays on a soccer field. They're on Fresno State's soccer field, so they're good. But as far as the lines, I thought it really affected our play against Tacoma. We tried to play very narrow, up because you naturally, when you're just on that field, you think those white lines are the outlines.
Yeah.
Like you just naturally, I got to stay away.
Yeah.
So the field's way more
You don't play
narrow.
with all the width available to you.
Yeah, football field's 53 yards wide.
Okay.
Next.
We have to talk about the first goal that we conceded. All right, I'm going to paint a picture. We lost 3-1 to Greenville Triumph. I don't think I was clear on that. The first goal we gave up was only 4 minutes after the restart, after our goal, and it was a long diagonal taken down by, I think he was actually technically playing the 10 or the central attacking midfield role. His name's Zion Scarlett. He had a very good game. But it was actually a headed through ball that went to Scarlett. Scarlett very barely got a toe on the ball and chipped it over the head of Marcelo Lage. Both Lage and our goalkeeper kind of, you, me, little Keystone Cops, and neither of them ended up going for it. The ball is getting ready to skitter across the line, and at this point, I watched this in slow-mo. No one's going to be proud of it, so I don't really want to belabor this because these players feel bad. I know they do. And this will be a player-positive podcast. I am not going to allow any shit talking about our players. But then you've got Longmire comes across. I think he's trying to help because if Carlos is yelling at his center backs, I've got this, it's mine, we never have a goal conceded. And I don't know what happened to Ahmed, but I think he just kind of two minds and didn't clear it. Why was it not an own goal? I guess I understand that it was technically on its way in, but Ahmed very much did not hit it in the right direction.
I think he could have waited, and
yeah, he seemed a little panicked.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think that it was his fault. He shouldn't have been left to do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Manny, I know you have thoughts about this. What do you want to say?
Just pretty much just piggybacking on what y'all are saying. Just they got caught in no man's land, and it was more like, I think maybe Carlos, maybe he didn't know what to expect from Longmire and that clearance that he's like, oh, maybe he's got it. That way he didn't react. I don't know.
Fairness to Carlos, Ahmed kind of panicked.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those, can I take a touch? Can I not? And then, I'm going to do neither. I'm going to actually kick it forward. Yeah. It's a weird one. Here's what I want to say. Fundamentally, one of the most difficult things in building a football team and building a soccer team is play out from the back and the organization between your keeper and your two center halves, your two center backs, the two middle defenders for people who are just getting familiarized with the sport. That partnership is critical. It's the spine of everything you're doing defensively. It will take a minute, and so everybody should just be a little bit patient, but we definitely saw glimpses of some discombobulated play in the Defiance game, and again yesterday. But
now I have a question about our style of play. I think that their style of play kind of dictated a little bit, and I don't really know what to expect from our team. So I ask you and you, because I know you know about Carlos, his background a little bit. Is he a sweeper keeper?
No.
Is that what we're trying to
I don't think that he has that reputation.
So he really was out in no man's land. He wants to stay closer to the goal.
Well, it's not controversial to say that the times where Carlos has looked uncomfortable is when he's off his line.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Less so with the balls. I would not say that with just the ball at his feet. I think he's totally comfortable with the ball at his feet. It's when he's asked to be a sweeper keeper or asked to come off his line in weird, perilous moments. I think by reputation, you can see it. As much difficulty as there was in the Defiance game, when he was called on to stop shots, he is a very good shot stopper.
Yes.
Yeah, his long balls too. I'm a fan of those long balls. Yeah, his passing. I saw too that.
Mike, you got to give the microphone.
His percentage of rushing out a goal isn't that high, but his long passing, his accuracy on that's really good. So that's always something really nice to see. I looked at some of his older stats, and like you said, he doesn't have that tendency of rushing out a goal a lot. He's more of a shot stopper, good long balls. So it helps a lot understanding with your center backs. So to know what they're capable of, to know what they can do. That way you know when to rely on them. Not rely on them, but I mean when to take charge of your area.
You got to marshal the defense.
Yep.
Fernando, do you have anything to add? I want you to say, my name is Fernando and I am here.
Hi guys, my
Hear
name
me
is
roar.
Fernando. I'm here sharing with you guys. But
Where were you yesterday?
So I was on Brickwest.
You were at
Brewery.
Brickwest.
Yeah, I was with all the group there.
Yeah.
So we enjoyed the game, and I think it was a really good start for Velocity on on TV.
Incredible. By the way, I was on media blackout. I did not look at anything other than I got a phone call from Katie Harnato, which I will talk about in a minute. But I didn't get to see any of this. Brickwest smashed it. That. Everybody smashed it. And by smashed it, I should say, clarify, people showed up. That was unbelievable turnout. To watch the videos of stuff was really, really cool.
Yeah, that was a good experience for me. A first game, all the excitement and we didn't know what was happening, but there was a lot of people there. We enjoyed the game and previous the last preseason game, it was completely different team that I saw yesterday.
Yeah.
But talking about the goal, so I'm pretty much agree with you guys. It's a lack of communication with that. Even you can see in the TV, Carlos what you said. But I think that will change for sure.
Of course.
Because
Yep.
they just barely know each other.
And it changed yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were much more solid. The two other goals that were conceded were not as a result of any kind of miscue.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
And we need to add that was the first pro game for those guys. That excitement to we want to win, but
Yeah.
we're a new game, a new team.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting. I'm happy what they did. And so I assume they will improve, every week, and so I'm happy with how they play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Casey, Nicole.
Sorry, just a fun thought, talking about the lines in the football, the lines on the field.
Yep.
Probably a fun thought is the defender saw that huge purple line, and he was distracted.
Super distracting.
Yeah, so probably
it's like you have a giant ugly painting
exactly
on the ground.
So
at any point, and you're like, why am I staring at a cartoonish purple painting on the ground?
Exactly. So at Fernando's Hill,
hate it.
communication probably just distract about that, and it's the first game, so it's just a fun thought.
Nicole, what do you got?
I will agree, though. The difference between last week and this week, that amount of improvement in 1 week is exciting. Because, Tri-Cities was fun, and both in participation of fans and the club. Because, we had a bus full, which was great. But Brickwest, I brought my best friend, Adam, who is born and raised in Spokane, and he only knew maybe a dozen people. He's like, I don't know where these people came from. I have never seen these people in my entire life here in Spokane. That's fascinating to me, that there's that many people coming out of the woodworks to go to Brickwest. Flat Stick had their Hat Trick had them. There were so many viewing parties that all, I'm sure, were full.
I'm glad you brought that up. It wasn't just Brickwest. Flat Stick was playing the game.
Yep.
Hat Trick was playing the game.
Yep.
Super, super cool. I really want to follow up on what you said about the phases of play against Defiance. I think we were outplayed in virtually every aspect.
Yeah.
This game, all but defending and finishing. Midfield, attacking, transition. Our finishing wasn't as good, but in every other phase, I think we were the better team yesterday.
Yeah, it was really hard to tell against Tacoma what our style was even going to be because they pressed us so hard. They pushed us back into our area. It was really just kick it up, see if we can make something happen.
They also had the majority of the possession.
Yeah.
We couldn't even string possession together.
Yeah.
Yesterday, oh my goodness. On the third and fourth goal, our tracking into the box was what led to those players being free to do what they wanted to do. Yeah. So I'll get to the fourth goal later. Anybody ever thoughts on the third goal?
Wish it didn't happen?
Go for it, Manny. Yeah, I wish it didn't happen.
Yeah,
Move on, Benji.
definitely.
Stop dwelling on the past, man.
It hurts still.
Yeah, it still hurts.
It's too fresh.
Yeah, it's too fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that I could think about it was because we were dominating possession and our passing was looking really good. We got to talk about XG at some point here.
Yeah, we will.
But yeah, things like that, we were looking really good, and statistically, like, we looked really good, and then their finishing was just way better than ours, and it's like, you know, that's
world class. Like,
yeah. And
if those players finish like that for too much longer, they are going to get the attention of some clubs.
And it doesn't really matter how well you play. If you can finish like that, you can hit a back heel, you can, you know, you finish right in front of goal.
Yeah.
And then you never expect a back heel, because Carlos probably could have gotten it too. It's just you never expect a back heel in that situation. You know.
It's going to bring us to the topic of XG.
Oh,
are we ready for that? Okay.
Sure. What is XG?
We have covered the goals that have been scored.
Okay.
Okay. XG means expected goals. Basically, there are analytics. It's human operated, so it's subjective.
Okay.
But there's enough criteria to it that there are some fairly agreed upon definitions of what where the calculation for expected goals comes from.
Okay.
So every attempt on goal is given a value between 0 and 100, right?
Okay.
Or I should say 0 and 1.
Okay.
So it works by, you know, tenths and down to the hundredths of points of how likely a chance is to be finished.
Got it.
To be a goal. So
Okay.
the most obvious example of this is there's an agreed upon Y-Scout, Opta, any of the big analytics companies out there, that a penalty is 0.76 goals, expected goals.
Okay.
So 76% of the time,
You should get it.
that'll be a goal.
Okay.
Yep. So that cheeky back heel from Leonardo Castro was actually probably like a 0.2. Even though he was right inside the box, his back was to the keeper.
Right.
So whenever you're unsighted, your XG is going to go way down. And it also requires so much technique, and it also requires to catch the goalkeeper flat-footed. Well, all of those things happened. He had the technique. The goalkeeper was caught flat-footed, even though he was unsighted, the player, because it's literally, unless we find out tomorrow that it's differently, Castro does not have eyes in the back of his head. So the XG for that attempt would have been like 0.2. But just so everyone knows, the XG overall in the game, Spokane had 1.8 expected goals. Greenville only had 0.91. And yet they scored 3 goals. Now, if you break it down one at a time, it's not entirely surprising.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense, the idea
So
behind
we should
expected
have
goals?
potentially scored 2, then 1. Is that what you're saying?
Yep, exactly. We should have scored 1.8 goals. They should have scored less than 1.
Okay.
Yep.
That's
By the
not what
quality of the
happened.
chances. So the own goal, not called an own goal, but that's so fluky, that would have had a 0.
Right.
They wouldn't have gotten any XG for that.
That was my question. What did it show the XG for that one?
For each one.
For the
I don't
the
have that
fluky one.
granular. In fact, this was only broadcast by the great, by the way, Ross Davenport, which was the play-by-play for Greenville Triumph. He called it out at the very end of the game. There are only about 5 minutes left in the game, including added time. So I don't think the XG changed at all, because nothing happened in the last 5 minutes.
Because no, it couldn't have been that high if the back heel was a 0.2.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, the first goal scored by Greenville would have been literally 0.
Yeah. And then you have that other one.
Or 0.01.
So if we take the math, the other one's a 0.7 that they scored, that, you know, their other goal. So that was a legit goal.
But it's not just successful goals.
It's all everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Shots on goal.
That's right.
that woodwork shot.
So the reason why ours is so high, despite only scoring 1 goal, is the 0.76 was for the pen.
Yeah.
The remaining 1, which is a decent, there's a lot of teams that can actually play really well and end up with an XG of 1, was for Pierre Reedy. Had an amazing headed attempt.
Yeah.
One of the most fantastic passages of play. It would have been a great run of play goal for us.
We would have lost our minds.
Yeah.
Yes. We were ready to.
Yeah.
We were ready to lose our minds. Yeah.
But he headed it right at the keeper. Yeah.
Yeah. No XA stats on that. No.
We'll do that some other time. Yep. There's lots of X's and O's and other kinds of weird, dorky,
I'm not
deep
here for that.
analytical stats. We'll touch XG on the Spokane Soccer Show, but we'll leave the rest for the nerds. Okay. Shout out 509 Syndicate, Brick West. Shout out Ross Davenport on the broadcast. I was minute 14, so it was right after we scored the goal. Ross Davenport brought up the 509 Syndicate being at Brick West and mentioned there's probably some beer spilled after that goal, which I'm sure there was. So a funny thing happens at halftime. I just want to tell this story. I did post about this today on Instagram, but it's actually probably even funnier to tell the actual story. But I'm sitting there taking notes, still kind of pissed off about the goal that we conceded, even though it had like 30 minutes had transpired. But I get a FaceTime call from club president, one of the owners of the both clubs, Katie Harnato, and I'm like, okay, I got to take this call. So I leave the room and I'm like, what's going on? FaceTime, right? Standing next to Katie, she's like, hey, do you know Gio? And I'm like, just no, I do. I know a Gio, but it can't be that Gio. But then I was like, well, who else would it be? So standing next to her is one of the equivalent of the 509 Syndicate. They're called the Greenville...
Reedy River Riot.
Say it again?
Reedy River Riot.
Reedy River Riot.
River.
Yeah,
so
REEDY.
they're
I'm gonna say that after a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think they're GVL Riot on all their different social handles, but he's one of their main guys, and there had been some banter back and forth between him and I on Twitter in the last couple days, and so he asked Katie if she knew me, and she's like, yeah, I know Benji, and she goes, do you want me to FaceTime him? Boom. And so I'm talking to one of the supporters of a team, never met the guy, and talking to him thousands of miles away.
That's awesome.
And it was just one of these moments where I thought about the compression of USL fandom and how tightly knit it is.
Yeah.
One of the things that's going to be really interesting, just a quick sidebar here, is how there's not a lot of toxic fan support.
Yeah.
It's generally like, there are people who've reached out to me and said, hey, can you help me get some Velocity swag? And they're supporters of other League One teams. There's just a thing. They really support the league.
Yeah.
So yes, there's rivalries and it's fun and whatever, and there's some banter, but it's generally like good-hearted.
Well, and I will say after the first meeting of 509, I reached out to Andrew at Forward Madison.
Yeah.
Because they just had like a killer supporter group, and I was like, hey, can we like Zoom? Can we something? He's like, you say when and where, and I'll do it. And he sat on a Zoom for an hour and said, this is what we would have done differently. Don't do this. Like this, learn from our mistakes. I mean, who does that in any other organization?
Totally.
Like, let me make your fan base better so that we can compete. Okay.
Since you brought up Forward Madison, I have to shout out Rob Chappelle, who is the host of Talkin' Flock, which is their podcast for Forward Madison. It might be one of a few podcasts, but I know that one is like one of the main ones, and he's a great guy. Yeah. And they're all, again, super supportive. Oh, hours before kickoff, I was talking to Rich Flemings, who is a supporter of Union Omaha, has a podcast called League One The Rocks, and now he works for the South Georgia Tormenta as a content producer for them and a director of outreach.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I was asking him questions. I'm like, hey, can I do sub clips of the game, the stream from ESPN, and not get in trouble? He's like, don't worry about it. Yeah. And I loved it. It was hours from kickoff and talking to a dude I've never met before, thousands of miles away.
But he answers your question.
And he also sent me, if you saw on Instagram, he sent me a goodie box
Oh, I remember that.
of stuff from South Georgia Tormenta,
Yeah.
including a training top.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, Rich is so cool.
There was some banter on the Discord, by the way. If you are listening to this, get on the Discord with us. We need
help.
masses of people. The USL fan base is actually really, really into it, and it's split up. But we posted
Tell the story about the trash goat.
So yeah, we're going to start a tradition here. We've already done it one time, but every opponent is going to have their logo eaten by the trash goat, and
there was some
they saw it, yeah,
blowback from that.
Greenville fans saw it, and of course they go something like, oh, they ate it. It ate as many as they scored goals, and of course.
Yeah, then it got worse. They did,
yeah, I gave them a like on it. The banter. I love the banter. It's nothing where I'm like, angry or anything. There are other soccer fans in this country too, and I love that. That's the best part about this. So.
Well, I think you better learn from that and feed them at least 3 stickers next time.
Yes.
If that's your fault, then it's on you.
You're the reason.
We need to feed it more stickers.
I want to throw some flowers at 509 Syndicate too, and El Sindicato, which is the Spanish language side, because we actually basically just signed up yesterday as we were watching the game, but we've been following on social media, and in the short amount of time that this has existed, you guys are super professional, and you've done a really good job of reaching out in different ways, and all of the different stickers that are available and backgrounds for your phones, and I mean just the opportunities to participate. You guys have done a really good job. So if it's, thanks to the help of these other people that have kind of given you ideas or how it's come about, but you should be pretty proud of yourself for how you have played a part in getting everybody involved in this as well.
I have to piggyback on what Casey's saying. First of all, I am responsible for the Spokane Soccer Show. I will take no credit for the 509 Syndicate other than doing my best to amplify the signal strength of all their messages, all their content, but I am in a pretty active group of dorks that follow League One.
Nerds.
And I was describing to them what happened with going to the Defiance game. That we chartered a bus, had 40 people on a bus that went to the Defiance game. And his name's Nick. He has a podcast with a guy named Ricardo. It's called Linners and Woozers. They're big supporters of Northern Colorado Hailstorm, who will be one of our rivals for sure, especially because regionally they're our closest team. So we'll squint and call it a derby. But Nick was like, dude, did you just say 40 people on a bus for a preseason game? He's like, I'm trying to get 5 people to show up to our supporters meetings, Now, granted, they have other soccer teams to support down there, including the Switchbacks, including the Rapids, but, it is in a different region of the state than those places, so, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out.
We're thirsty for it, and shout out to everybody here, but also these two next to me were at the first ever meeting. There was 8 people at that meeting, and these 2 were with me.
Jared is talking about Nicole and Manny, not me.
Yeah.
I was not. The way I found out about the 509 Syndicate is hilarious. I was like, I was still working on the agency side trying to wrap up the brand for Velocity, and somebody goes, there's like a Reddit group for supporters, and I was like, no. And they showed it to me, and I just did one of these. I just felt like a kid. I was like, this is so cool. Can't wait.
Well, and I would just say, so the away game or the friendly that we did on the bus was technically my team's home opener, and I had to choose between the 50th year with the Sounders home opener and the 509 Syndicate going to the probably one of the few bus away games we can ever do. And my husband, who is a great supporter of me, maybe not really into soccer, was like, "We're doing what?" I'm like, "We're riding on a bus." And we're going to be in this windstorm of a place.
Oh, my God.
And then it's 2.5 hours there and 2.5 hours back. And he's like, for a 90-minute game? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Bro, It sucked so hard.
You all were not prepared. I was prepared. I have done it before.
And you have already shamed me for it.
Yeah.
And I deserve it.
There was some skinny jeans I saw with holes in it. I'm like, what are you all doing?
No holes, but a little skinny.
Yeah.
And this Spokane Soccer Show jacket, I'll just tell you right now.
That's nothing.
I did have a Kuhl brand down jacket underneath it, though. Oh. It was still not nearly enough. I was frozen. But I also had my laptop and I was trying to take notes on the bleachers, which, thank you, Fernando, for getting that fantastic photo of me just freezing my ass off with my laptop, which was getting ready to die because I'm from Alaska. I don't remember the last time I've had a laptop die because the battery was too cold. I've had it because of heat.
Yes.
Not too cold. It literally I was sitting next to Fernando and we're watching the game. I was like, I got to take a note because Morgan Hackworth just made a really good play. And all of a sudden I was like, got the little Johnny number 5 sad face.
Oh.
I was like, no way, dude.
So sorry.
It's saying heat up your battery,
Yeah. So I would just say go to the store. That coat that we had, you can get at the store. We got one of those stadium coats.
You got one of those?
That's what we were in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was fantastic.
USL Spokane's going to love hearing this.
Yeah. Just shout out to them.
Well done.
17 mile per hour wind, 46 degrees.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the game that the Gonzaga women played in the first round of the NCAA tournament against Idaho.
Yes.
Yes,
I had my gimbal and my mic, and I was they're winning and it's exciting, but I'm gonna die. This is the last Spokane Soccer Show there will ever be. I hope you guys liked it.
Does anybody know what the weather is going to be on Saturday?
Dude,
60 degrees.
Let's preview this.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about that.
You're going to be spoiled. You're not going to even know what to do.
Paint the picture for us, Jared. What's it going to be like?
I just know that it's going to be 60 degrees, man, and I don't think they're. I thought I was loud enough. Sorry. I hope they're going to have that fountain on. Maybe just one day. I know they won't. But
Too early.
Can we get like a? Does anybody have like a? I'm sure there's a way to turn it on there. They'll just be like, they'll just have to send somebody to turn it off.
You got to get a hold of a
Yeah.
city employee.
I know
Yeah.
a city employee, but
Oh,
I think
boy.
they don't want to lose their
Nicole,
job.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know everybody.
I do know
You-
everybody.
It is going to be 60 degrees currently.
That's fantastic.
And look, I can even take some rain. If it's 60 degrees, it's going to be
will- yeah.
amazing. Now, you know what? I'm a little bit sad. I think, going to be in the press box.
What?
Yeah. I have to work. I have to prepare for
I'm gonna be
doing
having
this.
fun. I don't
I know. No, it's not always going to be like that, but I am going to
that
be in a little
happening
press
day.
box, and it's indoor.
Should we talk about the supporters section? Like you said, some people
Dude.
are going to get their news from this podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Tell them, Jared, it's going to be so hot.
So it basically works like it's so hot. Yes, it's going to be like basically like a beer garden. And so if you have a ticket, so my ticket is in section 121. I know somebody was saying that they're in 120, and they were wondering if they maybe should have gotten a different ticket. Bro, I'm pretty sure you have the cheapest ticket
Yeah, the
already.
cheapest.
I know I have the cheapest ticket already, and that's really what you want if you're going to be in the supporters section, which is now in the end zone. So you're going to get we're going to meet at the fountain. We're going to march. It's going to take about 15 minutes. We're going to get there about 45 minutes before kickoff. Maybe go look at the view from your seat, I guess, and then head on down to the supporters section, and then maybe never see your seat again. Because that's probably, I'm never going to see my seat. I'm going to be down there.
But you're burying the lead, my man.
Oh.
The supporter section is going to be risers
Yes,
right behind
Yep.
the goal
in the end zone.
on the, I'm terrible with directions, on the south side
South.
of
Yeah.
the pitch.
Yes.
So
Oh, yeah.
when the opposing keeper is in the box,
Oh my God,
oh
I feel
my
bad for them.
God,
Feel bad for them.
I feel super bad. Now be mean but kind.
Yeah.
His
Don't-
name is
don't
Akira
throw
Fitzgerald.
Wait, is it really?
Yeah.
You already know the Richmond kicker keeper? Yeah. Bro,
And you need a chant.
I'm gonna have to edit this, man.
We're gonna have to chant it now.
This is gonna be not safe for work, bro.
I did research because I was like, man, is there anything that we can like
No.
say? And I was like, there's really nothing.
Don't
He's
get
a Boy
personal.
Scout.
Yeah, totally. You're gonna be yelling, "You're such a nice guy. I hate it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's gonna look back.
Did you
he's gonna
save any babies today, you jerk?"
He's gonna be like,
You could be like, you look good in those shorts.
that's the
Yeah,
best
totally.
banter I've ever heard. And he's gonna get it during a PK, and he's gonna be like,
Yeah. Hey man, what are you doing after the
Boom.
game?
goal.
Do you want to come over and watch cartoons? It's going to be 60. It's going to be incredible. We're going to pretend every single thing we just talked about didn't happen because we got to get back to the game. By the way, I just want to quickly shout out this backdrop. We're at Flat Stick right now. If anybody, it's not obvious, we're at Flat Stick. Flat Stick Pub. They have this new simulator. It's like this golf course thing, which I'm protecting with my life, the tee. But I've seen people do this, and it is genius.
It's fun.
But the waterfall backdrop is just,
I mean, you can't.
It works.
it's absolutely nothing like our waterfall, but hey,
It's the thought that
our
It
waterfall's
is a
better,
waterfall.
is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Back to the game. Does anybody want to still talk about yesterday's game? I do. Valentine does. No. I got stuff. Ready?
You ready?
Let me start with, I'll get you a couple palate cleansers here, okay? In addition to all the other things we've said about the Tacoma Defiance game, the team really seemed to play for one another.
Yeah.
After giving up the goofy goals, they were still, I think the team is still kind of looking for our shithouser, our vocal captain who will, just get a little extra
Yeah.
on a tackle once
Yeah.
in a while.
You bring up our shithouser, and I thought that was going to be Grayson.
I know.
But
Well, let's just go ahead and say it now. So in the 66th minute, I believe, we brought on 3 subs, including Grayson DuPont, including Romain Metanier, and including Andre Lewis.
Yep.
We did not get to see Grayson DuPont play for very long because he went to make a run, no one around. I think it was a muscle. Looking at the way, wait, what do you think, man? You think worse?
I think it's worse because you could see it was like a change of direction. He went forward and he went like that, so
Okay.
I think it might, but it could be muscle too. But I saw him grabbing like
I
behind
did too,
his
the
knee.
calf.
Yeah,
I
saw like.
I'm hoping
I don't
it's
know
calf.
I can't remember what this is called.
Or
right here.
hamstring.
I saw
Hamstring?
like something right here, not the hamstring, like right below like the ligament right there, like by the knee. That's what I saw. At least that's what I thought because I saw him. He ran forward. He took a
All
step
right.
and then he turned.
I'm no doctor, I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express. But I will say, I hoped it was a propulsion injury of like muscle, not Achilles.
Yeah.
Definitely don't think it was an Achilles.
No, I don't think so.
Because he would have been a lot more despondent.
It would have been different. Yeah.
But I thought might have. My hope is it's a calf or a hamstring, but I'm worried that it might have been knee.
Yeah.
So I did hear from somebody, I don't know if it was you, Benji, or if it was in our chat, but apparently he mouthed that he thinks he's okay. I don't know.
I watched the game again today, and
yeah,
unless they were in Greenville and saw that
positive.
with binoculars, I did not see any indication of that. They also didn't show him walking off the pitch.
true.
So everybody, prayers up for our guy Grayson DuPont, because he is, no matter what, he will go right at defenders. He's really important. I liked that we had a lot of winger options, including Mikey Rojas, who came on later and made his professional debut. Shout out Mikey Rojas for making a pro debut, which lots of players made pro debuts. Let's shout them all out. Javier Martin Hill made his pro debut. Jack Denton made his pro debut and was the best player of, in my view, either team. I'll come to him in a minute.
I was gonna say, I want to hear that.
But they definitely played for each other. I was really, really excited by that.
I think they're coming together.
Who was the captain? Was it Luis? It was.
Yeah.
He had the armband, right?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all predicted that.
And I think, that's him the whole season, I would imagine.
Yeah,
He'll
definitely.
be the club captain. And then maybe Carlos vice captain, I would imagine.
I don't know. I would imagine it'd be somebody in the back, but I would say, to me, it'd be Derek Waldeck.
Sometimes it comes down to philosophy on who your captain's going to be. Some people don't want it to be the goalkeeper. And
Derek
that makes
Waldeck
sense.
actually has been captain before.
Okay.
So for other teams, it
And
might
he's
have been
our
one Knox.
First signing for us?
No,
too?
not one Knox. He was one of the first two signings.
Yeah.
But he's been captain in the past. I can't remember the team. Do you want to talk some stats?
I'm here for that's what I'm here for.
That's my favorite.
No. The fun ones, not the ones where you go like, what the hell's that mean?
Okay, good.
This is the stuff that gets me excited. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little stats.
Yeah.
We had 13 chances created as a team yesterday.
Yeah, it felt like that.
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
If you don't know, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Including 3 for Josh Doling. Really impressed with Josh's link-up play.
Yes.
He showed that more than anything I've seen so far from him.
Yeah.
So, and I already knew to expect that from him, that he's good at link play.
Yep.
He likes to play with his back to goal. He likes to play deep. He likes to come help out on defense. He'll throw in a tackle. He'll shithouse a bit. And I was really impressed with his link-up play.
I think with a wider field, like I said earlier, they narrowed the field. With a wider field like one Spokane's going to be, he's going to have more space to work in, and I think more space is going to work for our team better too. So,
Fernando, do you have anything? Do you have any takes? Say something.
Yeah.
Say something nice to me about me.
Should I go back to a different topic or?
Yeah, go. Please do.
Well, talking about how I met these guys in the 509, that was amazing because, for me, my team from Honduras has 120 years old. So when I born, I just went to the stadium and my team was already there, and all my family was part of the team. Yep. But when I came here and I knew about the Velocity team, it was I was so excited, because I don't know that, well, we didn't know the name, we didn't know players, we didn't know colors, nothing about the game, the team. And then talking with these guys, being in meetings every week, so excitement, and until yesterday, that was so excited to see finally whatever we did through all this time, that's so now we have a year, with the Syndicate, and so all this work, just in our side, I don't want to talk about what the team did because that's a completely different situation.
Yeah.
But being there, see those guys with the jerseys and everything, and just at the kickoff, that was amazing. And all this work we did, and we have some surprises for the home game for sure.
I made a post on Instagram yesterday. Got a little emo when I was doing it. I'll be honest with you. When I had the screenshot from video that we captured at Media Day, and it was the team huddled in the background. In the foreground, out of focus, was a bunch of select game balls. And I grabbed that frame and I just was looking at it and I was like, I want to make a post about, this is our city is called Spokane, this is our team. And I listed the names of every player and I was just like, I got myself hyped. I was like, what am I doing? I gotta chill. Making myself emotional again. There was all these different firsts that have come along in this entire journey. I just take a moment, take nothing for granted.
Yeah.
So amen to everything Fernando said.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree on all that. I never thought we'd have a soccer team here in this city. I've been here my whole life, and
that's right. You're a born and raised.
I'm born and raised here, and
Can we get a shout out? No lie.
I mean, just how much this city's grown since I was a kid. I mean, I used to think this was the worst place ever, and now it's like completely opposite. I'm telling my work, I'm like, I can't relocate. I got a thing here now, and that's, you know, part of that's the soccer team, and I don't ever want to be away from it. So, yeah, I'm definitely excited, and yeah.
I agree. I grew up in Germany, never saw my team in person. And then,
Eintracht Frankfurt supporter over here.
yes. And then
For all of you out there.
yeah, Bundesliga.
Yeah.
I'm just a Premier League. But I am also a Sounders fan, and so again, you drive so far for a game.
Is that a soccer team?
Yes, that
Okay.
is. Okay. Do you want me to school you on that?
I know it's
Okay.
Just for our listener, making
I know.
sure they know.
They know. But that's what I'm saying. Like the fact that I can now, I'm literally have my bus route picked out where I can walk to the bus stop, take a bus downtown, partake in all the funness, and then take the bus home. I've never thought in my life I would be able to do that for a professional
It's so
team.
ridiculous.
It's bananas.
It's so ridiculous. And yesterday during the broadcast, I had many moments where I would just look over at my family and be like, how come you're going from like educating our kids with new vocabulary to smiling like an idiot? And I'm like, because they just said Spokane again.
correctly,
And I've only lived here since
And correctly.
2012, but they said it correctly. They
Yes.
did not say Gonzaga correctly. They said
No.
Gonzaga, but that's
No,
fine, whatever.
that's fine.
Listening to them say Spokane has
Yeah.
the ball, blah, blah, blah. And also just the way, again, shout out Ross Davenport. He was a really great, that team was great. And they did a great job of, I think, highlighting the excitement, not just of the community, but also the team, the specifics of the team. They're like, this team is not going to be bad. And it's
Yeah.
very much evidenced yesterday.
Yes.
We do not have a bad team.
No.
Anybody out there who doesn't understand what can go into a 3-1 result, we talked about XG, but I'm going to go over some stuff now. We talked about chances. Let's do this. I'm going to do a quick rundown of some stuff that should just make everybody feel really joyous about this team and what they did yesterday and their performance. So, chances created. Basically, the last person to touch a ball, if somebody gets on the end of that touch, if you provide a touch to another player and then they take a shot, that's a chance created. We had 13 of them. When you look at the top players on either team, it was all velocity players. It was Josh Doling with 3, 2 apiece for Colin, Jack, Luis, Pierre. 3 crosses completed with from Luis Hill. I will be honest with you, I thought going into that game, we would try to work the ball down the flanks and try to expose fullbacks and send balls into the box to Josh or to Marcelo or to Ahmed, but we really didn't try that. And I kind of would like to know what the game would have looked like, but Javier Martin Hill did not even attempt a cross, and Derek Waldeck only attempted 2 and successfully won. So not a lot of crosses. When you're 10, your central attacking midfielder leads the game in completed crosses. That's unique.
You think that was purposeful?
Yeah, I do. I definitely think it was intentional. But when I see the play of Pierre Reedy, I can't fault Wiedmann's approach because Reedy was excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, what else happened? I'm going to do Jack Denton last because I'll probably I'll probably need to like towel off. Derek Waldeck and Jack Denton combined to complete 28 passes into the final third. Pierre Reedy led the game with completed dribbles with 3. He took 5 shots. 1 was on target. Doling, Smith, Camardi Smith, Pierre Reedy, Luis Hill were top 4 in touches inside the opposition box. Okay, so there are lines 18 yards out.
Yeah.
This surrounds the goal. That's the box. Those players combined to have all those touches in the box.
Is it good that there's so many players? Like there's.
It is. It's
Okay.
excellent.
I feel like that's the good thing.
You want a lot of touches there because it indicates threat, right?
Yeah.
This is where my love of Pierre Reedy came in. I just loved his positioning. He was available in dangerous places
Yeah.
a lot. I got to be honest with you, this is a great example of where stats can tell lies. Statistically, Pierre Reedy did not have a dominant game, but he was dangerous in really important moments.
Yeah.
He did have what's called a big chance created. It's a new metric, and it's kind of bizarre. They call it a big chance. Like, really couldn't come up with something more clever than that. Big chance created. He had the only one in the game. and he didn't convert it, or was a big chance missed? I can't remember, but he was just in the most threatening positions all game, and
Would you rather it be huge chance? Like, what word
huge.
would you like?
Enormous.
Ginormous?
Yeah, ginormous. Okay. Ginormous chance created.
Yeah.
GC. Yep. Anybody else have any thoughts about any of those stats that I just mentioned before we get to Jack Denton? Anybody heard of Jack Denton? Oh my goodness.
Saw him playing track and back, and I loved it.
Dude,
I'll tell you that.
Here we go. You ready?
Ready.
He took 97 touches. That was 30 higher than any Triumph player. Completed 89% of his passes. He led the game with 4 tackles, 12 recoveries. Recovery is you lose the ball, you go get it back. If anybody listened to the preview podcast where my friend Brandon Mays and I talked, Brandon Mays, by the way, is a Greenville Triumph supporter. So there was a lot of shit being talked in the last couple days between us. But this was what we were anticipating a good version of Jack Denton would look like, and boy, oh boy, did we get a good version.
So I was thinking he was a 10. He's not a 6.
Yes, he is.
Is he a 6?
Yep.
Wow.
He's 6, but he's also clearly box
He looks
to box.
like an 8, yeah.
And he's also a guy that you wouldn't be surprised at some point in his career he plays the 10. He definitely is capable of it.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
he played his college career. Now, if you listen to Brandon says, and he talked about Pascal Corvino, who was another Missouri State player in yesterday's game.
Yep.
Missouri State was everywhere in yesterday's game. They are producing USL pros by the dozen.
Those are the only ones that have ever played together, right? So, like, our defenders have never played together with our keeper or anything like that.
The players that have played together are Javier Martin Hill, Jack Denton, and Josh Doling.
Okay.
Yep. I believe Hill played with Josh as well. Josh is a year older than them, but I'm pretty sure all three of them played together at some point. But so Jack led the game, and I mean all players, in tackles with 4, recoveries with 12, 7 ground duels. So think aerial duel or 50-50 ball, or 2, usually center backs or strikers or whatever, are going up for a ball and they're using their head. That's an aerial duel. Ground duel is the same, but it's just with your feet. He led the game with those, and he also had 2 interceptions and only committed 1 foul. Like, for a 6 to put in that kind of shift,
Oh yeah.
and not commit any fouls.
That's great.
So
Yeah.
I was thinking before that maybe we didn't have a 6, and I was wondering, who's gonna put that work in, because I was thinking Denton was a 10 before the match, and then during the match I was thinking, okay, maybe he's an 8. But if he's gonna play the 6, do you think that we're gonna go with a single pivot or a double pivot?
All right, I'm gonna have to call out Jared. I'm gonna embarrass. Wait, Fernando, can you tell what I'm about to say?
Here we go.
Manny, can you tell what I'm about to say?
Maybe.
Okay. If you had listened to the podcast,
You went over.
we are playing a
so
double pivot, and we
many-
played a double pivot against Tacoma Defiance.
Oh, okay.
But this is great. I love you, Jared. This is an amazing opportunity for education. Our listeners want to know, what the hell's a double pivot? You
I
told us
wanna know.
once. Okay. So a pivot. There's a great TIFO video that I'm going to link some point because it's amazing. But think pivot like on a teeter-totter, right?
Yeah.
It can go either way, right? And it sits there like a little turret between your center backs and your midfield, linking play and also causing havoc, okay? The number 6 is a central defensive midfielder. I'm going to do a whole thing on the 6, the 8, the 10, the 9, whatever at some point. But a double pivot means you play with 2 of those. So it's the between the lines, between the back line of defense and the midfield, you have this position called a pivot. We are playing with 2. So we have 4 defenders. We play a 4-2-3-1. 4 defenders, 2 defensive midfielders, 3 attacking midfielders, and 1 striker. And so right now, our double pivot yesterday was Colin Fernandez and Jack Denton. And Jack was exceptional. Anything else on Jack before I say more?
Do you want to ask him out on a date?
Maybe.
Okay.
I think he's married. I do have a bunch of clips, and I can't wait to put them together. But it looked like his college tape. And if you watch his college tape, you're like, I want to see that play for the Velocity. Javier Martin Hill had a tougher time, but his tape in college was amazing as well. He definitely got taken to Wingers Can Wreck Shit school. Good wingers are, and I think League One is going to be really interesting. I think we have a lot of really good wingers.
Yeah, I really like Jack's mobility. Now, what I was
You really liked his what?
His mobility.
Yeah.
How he was just everywhere in the field. Now, my question is, how is Colin going to act in that role as a double pivot? Has he played double pivot before?
Yes.
He has?
Colin is one of the most experienced players in League One, and he's played a lot of the 6, the central defensive midfield role. So, he's quite comfortable, and you can see it there.
Yeah.
He was much better against the Defiance than I think Jack was, and I think I don't think Colin was bad yesterday, but Jack just stood out. With every time I was like a little worried, here would come Jack Denton, ball recoveries, chasing down the ball when he maybe have lost it himself, because he was dispossessed a couple times, but yeah.
So in the pivot roles, who do you think is going to start? Colin and Jack?
I think we'll see what we saw yesterday.
Lewis and Jack.
Oh, it's great. You mean when everybody's fit?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yes, because then they have different profiles. To me, it looks more like Lewis is more too of a chaser, but then I saw a little bit of that too yesterday with Colin. He was going after players. He was showing a lot of grit.
Any fans of Chelsea back in the day? Does anybody know N'Golo Kante? Okay.
Yeah.
I see a little bit of that. Andre's he's a smaller player.
Yeah.
He's listed at 146 pounds, and I got to be honest with you, I think that might be accurate.
Yeah,
he's 5'10", 146 pounds, which is kind of in that. N'Golo Kante's a little shorter probably, but he just looks like he's got motor for days.
Yep, that's what I noticed too.
I agree. Yeah. Which is a little different. I think Colin has a lot more in his bag with passing.
Yeah.
He can take free kicks.
Ability, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a little more clever in attack. Mm-hmm. He can play on the wing, but. It's a great question. I don't know if everyone's fit. Does a 25-whatever-year-old kid, 26, who just graduated from college, play over Andre Lewis or Colin Fernandez? I don't know. But I thought he was our best player yesterday.
I guess it all depends on how the coach wants to play. They're all different profiles. Which one is more defensive? Which has better tactical awareness? Who's going to be pulled out of position way more than others? So all of that's going to fall into that. Yeah.
This is where I get in trouble with the podcast when people accuse me of being too dorky with like minutia and details.
I'll stop you.
So let's save me and anyone else have a topic that they want to riff on. Anything about looking ahead to Richmond this weekend. What's everybody have planned?
Yeah, where's everybody sitting?
Yeah, I want to hear from you two. I don't know where you're sitting. Do you have season tickets?
We have Rumble tickets that it's one game every month.
Yes.
So, and the rest of the games.
So that's what they're calling a Rumble ticket, is one game a month?
Exactly.
Oh, that's very cool.
So, I don't remember exactly the section, probably is 103.
Well, doesn't it change, or do they have specific seats designated?
It's on the specific seats.
That's what you get the same seat every month.
It's every seat every
month.
So
it's basically a half season ticket.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like a
yeah.
And our idea is the rest of the games join the support area.
Yeah.
So but that I don't remember what's but I'm gonna tell you in a minute. Yeah, that's.
But you have the first game.
We have the first game. Yeah.
Nice.
So we're gonna be there. Pardon me?
We're before the game.
Before the game.
Wherever you are.
Exactly.
It's gonna be flat stick, right?
Yeah. And we saw that we're gonna start on Riverfront Fountain, and then walking through. So we're gonna go with you guys.
Jared, talk us through it.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is going to be our pre-match spot. This is also Spokane Velocity's post-match pint stop too. So we can meet back up here.
And I have to say, the Spokane Soccer Show, once a month, record podcasts like this. This is really cool.
Yeah. I'm having a good time here. But not that I'll be on. You'll probably never want me on again. I talk so much.
How dare you?
All of a sudden you don't know when and where.
You don't wear the United shirt.
No, I think it's the opposite.
Get out of here.
You've like hooked yourself as, okay, I got Jared, man. He's my.
That's true. I'm free anytime. But yeah, just come find us, and it's going to be an awesome time. Yeah. Oh yeah, you'll definitely hear us. I mean, if it was anything, like we only had like 40 people on that bus in Tri-Cities, and
it was noisy.
Yeah, so I think we have a couple trumpets. We got a drummer, at least one drummer. If you're out there and you're a drummer, by the way, we would love to have more of you.
DM the 509 Syndicate
seriously,
on Instagram.
One drummer by themselves made so much difference,
does.
And we can chant to you guys hitting those drums, but
it's instantaneous hype.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, I would normally say that everybody should take the bus, but the bus is going to be really weird for this one because there is that
St. Paddy's Day.
St. Paddy's Day. So the bus isn't actually going downtown, but we do have a route that takes you right to basically like a block away from here at Flatstick. You just take that city line, you park at SCC, and then you don't have to worry about parking at the stadium. I think that's a really big thing too. Is we don't want to, at the end of every match, have to sit in traffic for an hour.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants that. So just walk back across, grab a pint, wait for the bus. Whenever it comes once an hour, once every half hour or something. And like you can just jump on and go back to your car. And it's a 15-minute ride on the bus. And it's like the nicest bus in their fleet, too. So, yeah, brand new.
Very, very fun. If you didn't know this, there is I'll call it kind of a media company of sorts. I don't want to say company because I don't want them to sound like they don't need support, because they do. If people are they're called Protagonist. Protagonist has many different podcasts related to USL teams and clubs and leagues. And one of their main editors and writers and podcast contributors, his name's Josh Duder, literally Duder.
The Duder.
Yep. Big Lebowski, insert Big Lebowski joke here.
Yes.
Josh is coming up here with a videographer, and they're going to be doing a profile about the first home game for Spokane Velocity. I've been on one of their podcasts. It's called One League Under the Sea. It's very good, but any of the Protagonist podcasts I highly recommend. For us, as supporters of Velocity, I would say One League Under the Sea, which is, if you look in on Spotify or iTunes, just look up Protagonist and it'll show up. It'll be obvious what it is, but they're going to come up here on Friday and then watch the game on Saturday and then go back. He lives in Portland, but yeah, it's going to be super, super cool. Yeah, they have a 10,000 person mailing list, so yeah.
Impressive. Yeah. They really missed an opportunity to call that podcast "The Duder Abides." But
The Duder Abides.
Yeah.
Hey, don't dare Josh, because it could happen.
We can maybe if you have him on your podcast, you can name that
Listener
episode.
submission.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Duder Abides.
The Duder Abides. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. I'll repeat what I said at the outset about this emotional post that I made on Instagram. Take a moment. Take nothing for granted. This is amazing. Thanks to everybody for coming here. I think we've talked about enough. Does everybody feel like anybody have any last parting shots that they want to get in before we wrap?
No.
Let's go Spo.
Spokane Soccer
Let's go
Show.
Spo.
Thank you
Let's
for
go Spo.
Yeah, and thanks for everybody's support of the Spokane Soccer Show. Always massively appreciated. Rate, review, all the things, follow. It actually really helps if people subscribe.
Up the Falls.
Yeah, up the falls. Let's go.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.